Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alexis and today we're going to be starting a really fun reading vlog where we're going to be vlogging my experience reading If He Had Been With Me. Now, I don't know if you guys have the same TikTok For You page as me, but I have literally been seeing TikToks and posts about this book everywhere recently. I don't know why or where this came out of, since this book is quite literally 10 years old, but I feel like I cannot escape this book and my interest was piqued. So the other day I went to Target with my boyfriend and I saw that they had copies and it was only $8, so I was like, you know what? I need a book to spark me to get into reading a little bit more again, so I decided to pick it up and here we are. I haven't been reading very much recently and this book is described as being heartbreaking and shocking and twisty, so I thought it would be fun to read this. I thought it'd be cool to see if this book is as good as everyone hypes it up to be. So I'm going to give you guys a brief synopsis about this book and then we're going to go outside and read. It's actually really lovely today and I would love to go read outside because reading outside is my literal favorite. So synopsis. This book has a very vague synopsis. I think that's definitely intentional, but the synopsis says, Autumn and Finn used to be inseparable, but then something changed, or they changed. Now they do their best to ignore each other. Autumn has her boyfriend, Jamie, and her close-knit group of friends. Finn has become that boy at school, the one everyone wants to be around. That doesn't stop the way Autumn feels every time she and Finn cross paths, the growing and nagging that maybe things could have been different, maybe they should be together. And as time passes, Autumn realizes she might not get another chance to make things right before it's too late. So, we're going to take this book, we're going to go outside, and we're going to start reading it, and I will get back to you guys very soon with my initial reactions to this book. Hello friends, good morning. It is the next day, and I'm going to give you a bit of a reading update about If He Had Been With Me. While I get ready for class and do my makeup, I know you can't really see it, but my makeup caddy is here, and I have my little mirror here, and I need to get ready for class, so I thought it would be kind of fun to do a get ready with me while I give you guys my initial thoughts and feelings about If He Had Been With Me. So for reference, I am currently on page 90 and I'm just going to give a more updated synopsis now that I'm more into the book, along with actually diving deeper into my thoughts and feelings. There's some stuff I like and some stuff I am not liking. I'm having a lot of mixed feelings. So first of all, this book is something. Okay, so the synopsis of this book is very, very vague, and I feel like that's very valid, but I'm gonna give a slightly more jump into what it's about because I just feel like I want to. So this book follows our main character Autumn, and Autumn and Finn are childhood best friends and neighbors. They've known each other their entire lives and their moms are best friends, and in middle school they kind of followed the same crowd. They were both fairly popular, but then things really changed when our main character Autumn decided she didn't want to be a cheerleader. So instead, she and her friend group kind of fell apart, and she kind of became the complete opposite of the popular girl she was, and instead became a total outsider. And she really relishes in her new friend group, but because of her new friend group and also just the difference now, she and Finn or Finny no longer talk to each other. The book is told following their high school careers. Right now I'm on their sophomore year of high school, but it does kind of go literally semester by semester into their experiences with friend groups, dating, trust, loneliness, all that sort of stuff. And it kind of bounces between talking about what's currently going on and also exploring the memories of the past. It's not told in dual timeline or anything. There's just a lot of jumping between the present and then the memories that the main character has of her childhood with Finn. As I said, I'm about 90 pages in right now, and honestly, there are a lot of things I'm really liking about this book and a lot of things I am not as much. So something I really, really like about this book is the writing. The writing has a very interesting and specific haunting quality to it. I have a really hard time comparing it to any other books I've read or thinking about who I can compare it to, but this book has such a specific writing style that really is haunting and almost brings me this feeling of terror and dread and anxiety, just because I'm I feel bad things are going to happen. I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. It just I think it's really, really interestingly well done. Additionally, something this book did that I absolutely love is it did the thing where the very, very first chapter is actually what happens at the end of the book to try to grip you in. So you're you already know how the story ends and now you just have to find out how we got there, which I thought was really cool. And I am excited to get to the end because I feel there's so much potential for how this book is going to end. However, my biggest thing right now is I'm honestly kind of bored. I am, like I said, 90-ish pages in. I'm in their sophomore year of high school, and things are vaguely starting to happen, but I honestly thought this book was going to be like really juicy, and I don't know if I just haven't gotten to it yet or if it just isn't, but I've been like waiting. It feels like right now I'm just reading about like her everyday life, and it just hasn't been all that like gripping and thrilling necessarily the way that I was hoping and expecting it for me. Life update, besties. The lighting's awful because it's like 11 p.m. But hi, it's the same day as the clip you just saw. But I'm super sick now, so hi, hello. Should I be vlogging right now? Probably not. I should probably be sleeping, but I can't sleep. So, since we last talked, I felt fine this morning, and then all of a sudden, sorry, this looks so bad. Since this morning, my health has gone super downhill, and I am sniffly, congested, my head has been hurting, I just feel like crap, but I can't sleep, so here we are. This is the vlog update. I have read more of If He Had Been With Me, so here's also my update on that, I guess, before I lose my voice, because I can, like, feel that I'm going to lose my voice. I'm currently, like, maybe 150 pages in now, and I am planning on hopefully reading more tonight, especially if I can't sleep. And I am liking it even more now. Right after the last part where I talked about being, like, mildly bored, I read some parts that made me much more excited. I think now that we're finally getting more, like, interactions between Autumn and Finn, I'm starting to like the book a lot more because I'm, like, interested, and I feel like their chemistry and, like, their relationship is just so much more interesting to me than a lot of what else was happening in the book. So I am really excited that, like, that's happening. I'm at the end of their sophomore year now. It's summer break, and this book is progressing pretty quickly through, like, the years. I'm not quite sure yet. Like, I have no predictions for, like, how this is gonna, like, be heartbreaking or, like, what's gonna happen. Just that, like, we're still moving through it, and I have been enjoying it a good bit more. It's starting to talk about a little bit more mature topics, like just feelings of loneliness and feelings of, like, figuring out first love and what love should feel like and stuff, and I have really started to enjoy the conversations that are being had. I think this book has a lot of potential, so I'm really hoping to get through it in the next few days and just kind of, like, get to see why everyone calls this book so, like, heartbreaking, gripping, because, like, right now, I don't quite get it, but I feel like there's really good potential that, like, by the end, I could, like, go through, like, a really, really, like, emotional reaction, and I'm really hoping that this book, like, delivers on that. Hello, friends. This angle kind of sucks, but we're gonna work with it because, I am still sick. Last night's clip was kind of atrocious, but we're just gonna go with it because, y'all, I'm so sick right now. I was doing fine, and then it just hit me out of nowhere, and I feel like crap. So I haven't really had a lot of energy, and I'm kind of just surviving. However, I have read a good amount of my book today because I told myself that if I wasn't going to be doing schoolwork because of feeling sick, then I'm at least going to try my best to read more If He Had Been With Me. So I am now currently on page 177. I have read a good bit today and yesterday, and I am starting to really like this book a lot more. I think a lot of my feelings stay the same from last night. And I feel like there's a few, like, areas in this book where I'm starting to pick up potential for, like, things to kind of get, like, big and bad or, like, twisty and stuff. But, like, I don't know. I feel like we're just kind of coasting right now. This book has a very, very specific writing style that's really hard to put my finger on, that I don't really know how to describe because I don't think I've ever actually read a book with this writing style before. My initial comparison was to Perks of Being a Wallflower. However, I have not read The Perks of Being a Wallflower since I was probably like 12 or 13 years old, so I don't want to say that this book reminds me of The Perks of Being a Wallflower because I, again, have not read that book in a solid like 6 or 7 years, so I don't really actually remember what the writing style in that book was like. But that's kind of the vibes I've been getting so far. We're currently now in their junior year of high school, and things are more or less the same. There are some interactions between Finn and Autumn, but not really. I'm definitely starting to notice a lot more of like the themes, like I mentioned last night. I just think this book has been really fun and floaty. It keeps my attention well enough while also like nothing major has happened yet. And I really am looking forward to like when things start happening because this book is definitely built up like the characters and the setting and the plot really well. So like I know when things like hit the fan and when, you know, all the sad heartbreaking stuff or whatever happens that this book is going to like wreck me, since I do think I have like gained an emotional attachment to the characters, especially to Autumn and Finn. So it's later in the evening and I'm still not feeling well, but because of the fact that I haven't been feeling well, I've pretty much been spending my whole day reading If He Had Been With Me. I'm currently on about page 300 out of like 370, so things are definitely starting to amp up a little bit, and I am really enjoying this book now. Like, I'm no longer bored. This book is just really heavily character driven, and I think it takes a little bit to get into the book because you have to learn these characters and the world and get really comfortable with the style of writing. This book has really dove into a lot of topics. As I've like sprinkly mentioned, it's gone into like depression and like psychiatric help and divorce and a bunch of other stuff, and it's been very, very, very interesting. Additionally, the main two characters, Autumn and Finn, has really started diving into like their relationship as children and also their relationship now in a way that is just so like, I'm eating it up. And I don't want to say a lot because I don't want to accidentally spoil anything. So this book is honestly just very, very hard to talk about because it's so heavily character driven that there really is not much of a plot besides just going through the 4 years of high school following this group of characters. So I feel like I don't have a lot to say because I don't want to spoil anything, but y'all, I'm eating this up. I'm just really eating this book up and enjoying it, and I think I'm going to be able to finish this like pretty much immediately. However, I'm a little nervous because I feel like this book is going to shatter my heart. I'm enjoying it a lot so far, and I'm honestly just enjoying it a lot more than I expected. And I feel like this book has, especially since the first like 100 or so pages, really picked up pace and is gripping me a lot harder now that we're like the 300 mark. Like, I really cannot imagine not sitting down and finishing the rest of this book in one sitting because I am just like so interested to find out what's going to happen as like the story is continuing. I have about 20 pages left, aka about 10 chapters. The lighting is bad, I'm really sorry, but I was very, very specifically told by someone on TikTok to film my live reaction to the last 6 chapters, and I feel my anxiety building, so we're going to put the camera down, and we're going to vlog the last bit of me finishing this book, and see what my final reaction is to the ending. They're like, okay, these are not going to be coherent thoughts at all. I'm going to start with no spoilers. That ending, oh my god, was like emotional whiplash. It felt very sudden, but I feel emotionally destroyed. I'm going to need to sleep on this one, and we're gonna talk about this tomorrow. Hi, hello. I've had some time to think about if you had been with me, and now we're going to do my final thoughts and opinions and feelings. I'm going to do both spoilery and non-spoiler, but we're going to start with the non-spoilery before I get into the spoilers. So, now that I've finished this book and had time to think about it, I think I'm going to give this book 4.5 or 5 stars. I'm not exactly sure. The ending of this book was just as gutting as I was expecting, and I'm not going to lie, after I turned the camera off last night and even into today, I've just been like really thinking about this book and just processing like my emotions and how I feel about it, because like this book did honestly wreck me like a lot, maybe even more than I expected. But in summary, I did enjoy this book a lot. I definitely don't know if I would reread this though. That's like the one thing that I'm like debating about with my rating is there's 2 things that are making me debate my rating. One is a spoiler, the other is not. And I just don't know if I would ever read this book. Not because it's a bad book. I thoroughly enjoyed it. But because the parts of the book, like this, I don't know how to explain it, but essentially like the book follows our main character Autumn all throughout her years of high school for 4 years with her friend group and with her like high school boyfriend. And then, there's also this like side plot of like her kind of throughout the years in her relationship with her neighbor, Finny. However, the parts of the book I love the most are her interactions with Finny, which for the bulk of the book are a very, very small part of the story since they fall in such different crowds. So I don't know if I would ever actually pick this book up to read it in full because the ending's gonna make me sad no matter what. And also because like I really disliked her boyfriend throughout most of the book, and I think that was definitely intentional. I think you were not necessarily supposed to like the boyfriend, but because of that, I just don't know if I'd ever read it since so much of the book is spent with them being apart. And like, I know this is not a romance book. That's not the main point, and I totally get that. But I just still feel like my favorite parts of the book were just when they were together, and I don't know if I would really have an amazing rereading experience going back through all 4 years of their high school experience being in such different social circles, talking about their friends' lives and such. I don't know if that made sense, but I kinda hope it did. Okay, so now I'm going to get into spoilers. I'm going to put a little picture of the cover right here on the screen. When that picture is gone, I'm going to be done with spoilers. I will be talking about major spoilers for this book, so if you don't want to be spoiled at all, skip this part. I'll put the time code like in this corner or something. Just skip to that part because I don't want you to get spoiled if you don't want to be spoiled. So, the other thing that is currently making me not know what to rate this book is the pregnancy trope that's in this book. So, I'm personally not a big fan of the accidental pregnancy trope. I really never have been. And I really actually do not mind how it was used in this book. It was used twice in this book. However, what I do mind is the fact that the two accidental pregnancies that occur in this book both happen after those two individual characters have sex for the first time just once. And don't get me wrong, that can happen. That for sure can happen. Like, one time is enough. One of the characters even says that. But I felt like it was so obvious that it was going to happen because, one, every time, like, the two instances this occurs where there's unprotected sex, there's a, like, line that says, like, it was unprotected. So it's every time I see something that's, like, they had sex and the author specifically points out that it was unprotected, they're going to get pregnant. Like, I just knew. Both times that was what's going to happen. It was really, really obvious. And then I just, like, it really threw me off that it was, like, one time, their first times, these two individual women, and then they get pregnant. I was just not expecting that. It was a moment. That was a moment, and that's kind of why I'm debating about the rating, because I don't know yet exactly how I feel about the accidental pregnancy trope and how it was portrayed in this book. Other than that, though, the other spoiler thing I want to talk about is the ending and Phineas, aka Finney's death, because that wrecked me. Something I've mentioned several times is that, like, the first chapter is the ending of the book, but I still just have, like, this deep gut feeling that, like, there was no way that that he was actually going to die, because I just knew they were going to fall in love and get back together. So when he did at the end, it gutted me. And then when the ending continued and Autumn tried to unalive herself, the first thing I thought of, and the first parallel that I got from that, which I feel like probably a lot of people will get if they read this book, was the scene earlier in the book when she had been talking to Jamie, her boyfriend, and she had been talking to him about Romeo and Juliet and how she thinks that there is beauty in sad things. And Jamie was like, I don't think that there is. I think death is just sad. I think it's just sad. There is no beauty in it. And Autumn was like, well, like Romeo and Juliet, I think there's beauty in sadness. And Jamie was like, we don't love each other enough to unalive ourselves for each other. Like, you know, he was like, if I died, would you do that? And she was like, no, I guess not. And then he was like, and if you died, I wouldn't do that. So then the ending, after Finney passes and she does try to do that, I was just like this, the author could have made it so much more clear, like, what the difference in, like, love is, and how, like, her love with her first boyfriend, Jamie, is nothing like her love with her actual first love, Finney. So I thought that was really interesting. I also really was not expecting her to do that at the end of the novel. It really threw me off and made me sad. I was like jaw on the freaking floor as we saw last night when I read that part. And the last like 6 chapters really, really did like just explode. Like the story just went crazy and I was like, I lost it a little bit. But I think the ending was really good and the book definitely like builds to that ending. Spoilers are done now, but something else I wanted to mention is I did look up some things last night after I finished this. Like, I looked up the Reddit, and I was just trying to find, like, other information online. And I actually did find out that there is a sequel companion novel to this book coming out later in 2023. I cannot remember what the title is off the top of my head, but it sounds like it might be, like, 3 point of views. It might be Autumn, Finn, and Jack, and it's, like, a spin-off companion. Based on the synopsis, it sounds like it might be like kind of like Finn's point of view during this book, but also like a mixture of what happens after this book. And I'm intrigued and interested, and I don't know exactly yet if I plan on picking it up or not, because I would like to say, like, yes, I'm going to pick it up. But I'm also worried that with, like, how emotionally wrecked this one made me, if I'm not in the mood to read a book that's going to, like, hit and make me sad, that I don't know, like, how immediately I'll pick it up after it releases. But I am definitely very interested to see, like, other community reviews, and, like, if I get to that spot where I'm, like, I'm willing to read a book that's going to make me super duper sad, then I definitely will pick it up. I am not a sad reader. I don't usually go for books that I think are gonna, like, gut me. So I'm gonna have to be, like, in a specific mood to pick that book up. Anyways, I guess we're done with the video now. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for hanging out with me while I read If He Had Been With Me. This video was really fun for me to do. I know I got kind of sick during it, so I'm kind of grumpy and stuff, but I really appreciated you guys hanging out to the end if you're still here. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, all of that like sort of thing. I post videos every Monday, so definitely subscribe if you want to keep up with me. If you want to message me about this video or comment about it, please comment below, or my Instagram handle is right here. As for always, I love reading your DMs and comments, so if you've read this book or want to, or have any thoughts, feelings, opinions, please do not hesitate to comment or reach out. I love talking to you guys. So thank you so much for watching. I'm really, really happy you made it to the end, and I hope that you are doing well. And I hope that if you read this book, you have a box of tissues on hand. Anyways, bye guys. See you next week.